Nothing like doing a job twice to make sure you get it right. At least sometimes I think that's what happens. The master cylinder mounts to this piece on the firewall, which comes from underneath the dash inside, and this snaps in place. 10 years ago I replaced this very same piece, and now I guess engine heat and probably poor quality plastic, it blew out the other day on the way home, and luckily I could cram it in gear and got it home in first gear. So now I got to take half the underneath of the dash apart to change out this piece again. Not one of the more fun jobs I've done, but it's one of those that's got to be done. I'll show you what the piece looks like in the box. This is what it looks like from the pedal side. Everything is plastic. The pedal arm, the pivot point, even the part that sticks through the firewall that blew up. I'm not sure if you can tell how thin that is, but that's all the clutch master cylinder snaps into. And then there's a metal rod that goes from there back to the clutch pedal. And I guess in the last 10 years I probably mashed that clutch pedal 1,000,000 times, and the plastic fatigued and blew out, and there you go. I don't know why you couldn't have made at least this part of it out of aluminum or something to keep it from pushing that out. I mean, that stuff, if it's probably not even 3/16 thick, and the whole inside of it is hollow. So, pretty bad job. Of course, I understand that when cars are made, they don't intend for people to keep them as long as I generally keep vehicles, but still, you think that they could have done a little bit better than that. This part's from Amazon. It was like $65. Of course, it took them a week to get it here, so I've been driving the little tracker around trying to use it, so I've got something to drive. So anyway, now we get to go in here. I already took the battery cable loose and climb up under the dash, one of my favorite places of all time. Yay! I'm not sure how well you're going to be able to see it or not. You probably, you can't see, sorry. See the daylight up there where the top of this thing mounts to. You pretty much got to take half of the underneath of the dash apart to even get up in here to get this thing out. You've also got to remove the fuse box cover and the fuse box sitting right here beside the clutch pedal because it goes around it. 5 pound of crud in a 3 pound bag. So anyway, I'll get some lights hooked up, and I'll give you a little bit better shot of it as I'm getting it out of there so you can kind of see how this thing comes apart. Because I know I'm not the only one out there having this issue. There's got to be a bunch of people having trouble with these things. So I'll bring you back in a few. Okay, I'll try to give you the clean, non-4-letter word version of this. You have to take the fuse box cover off, which is always fun because it's got little snaps on the side of it, but you probably can't even see that because where the light's positioned at. Then once you get that out of the way, the fuse box, if you push on these little tabs on the corner on either side, which it's got one on both sides, you can't see this one, the whole fuse box assembly will pivot down to where you can get up underneath the clutch pedal. And there's 3 bolts, holds it to the firewall and under the dash. You got 2 of them right up here going into the firewall, and then you got a 3rd one that goes straight up under the dash right there. And that's pretty much everything that holds it under here. Just trying to get to it around all the wiring harness, the emergency brake, the fuse box. That's the difficult part. But once you get the bolts out, that makes it a little easier. There's also a clip. I'm trying to figure out how to show you this where I can still see if I'm showing it to you or not. Let me turn the camera around. Of course, the light fell over too, so hang on. There's a clip up here on the back of the clutch pedal. Trying to get it so you can see it. And I can't tell where the camera's at, I'm sorry. But you have to take your fingers and pinch that clip together to get the clutch rod out of the back of the pedal. I think that's showing it to you, or I can't really tell by looking at the video. But anyway, I've got to get that released, and then I can see if I can get these 3 bolts out. I'll bring you guys back and show you the rest of it from there. Sorry about the shaky cam. Oh. Yeah, it's kind of up the side of this socket. Right here, there's the rod, and you have to reach up in behind it to get a hold of that plastic clip to disengage the clutch rod. So you have to do that, and then you can work those 3 bolts out to get the whole assembly down out of the dash. So I'll bring you back in a few minutes. Of course, you got a cross brace for the dash. Everything else this thing sets up behind. Okay, it's going to be more fun than I remember. I don't think there's anything else back here I got to take loose. This was. Come on. I can't come out that way, so it's got to come down this end first. Behind that brace. Go ahead and break part of it off. The difficult part is trying to get everything loose to get it out. Luckily, once you got that piece loose from the clutch pedal, you can slide it out into the engine bay enough to where you can unhook the plug wire from the neutral safety switch. It's actually held captive on the clutch rod. You pull it through this, I'm not sure if you can see it or not, the hole going through the firewall there. You pull it out far enough into the engine bay to where you can unplug the wire from the switch, and then just kind of lay this thing over out of your way. The problem I'm having right now is this plastic nose that sticks through the firewall here, trying to get that thing pushed in far enough to get it to clear the other side of the firewall to get it out. And I can't remember how I did it, if I pushed this side into the truck and dropped it down, or if I pulled the back part of it down, but it feels like there's a brace underneath the dash that's hitting. So I'm beginning to think this has got to push in toward the cab and have it drop down first. So I'm going to try that and see. The previous owner, before I bought the truck, these 2 holes on either side of this, they had taken 2 old style distributor hold down clamps and it clamped it across that opening to help hold the master cylinder in place. And once I discovered that, that's when I replaced this piece the first time 10 years ago. And now I kind of see the appeal of why they did that versus doing what I'm doing for the second time. So I'm going to take the camera back inside and let you see kind of what's going on. I may be able to pull it in far enough to get the bottom of it past that. I'm hoping that's how it comes out. All this stuff in the way. Come on. 1/4 inch. There we go. Yep, that was it. You have to pull the side down next to the firewall first. Another hint too, take the clutch pedal out of it, trying to get it out. There's a stopper on each side you push down that's spring loaded. I'll show you on this one I'm getting ready to put back, and take the new one out of the box too before you try to put it back up in there. It makes installing everything a lot easier with that clutch pedal out of your way. But that's kind of what happens to the end of it. This looks like a GM part, but I guess over time that plastic just says I'm done and blows up. Let me show you the new one that's going in there. they're both the same thing. This one had a GM sticker down inside of it. I can't tell if the number's the same, but everything else is identical. Here's where your two holes go into the firewall. Here's the one that goes up into the top of the dash. The clutch pedal itself has got these two plungers on it that are spring-loaded. You just take something like a medium-sized screwdriver or something and push it in inside of this hole, and push it in enough where you can kind of wiggle that side down and flip it over while you hold tension and pop that in the same way, and then you can take the clutch pedal out, and that makes installing this thing a whole lot easier. So now we got the old one out. We'll see if we can get the new one back up in there with the minimum cussing, and we'll see how it goes. I think I'll have to change batteries, though. It looks like the battery's saying it's about dead. Bring you back on the next one. Okay, fresh batteries. Here's a shot of the GM part number in case anybody else has to do this. I looked this one up on Amazon. Rock Auto for some reason didn't list this, so I ended up getting it off of Amazon. Here's the OEM tag in the front. Kind of gives you the part number there. Big Daddy wire tie, that's for sure. Alright, let's see how much of a pain this thing's going to be to get back in there. But going back, you want to try and slide this end up in there first, and you got just enough room to shove it back into the underneath the dash for this to clear the firewall and then go through the hole. So I'll get you back to my lovely camera assistant here.
He jumped up in here himself.
Good.
And he's not happy if I ain't touching him.
Of course not.
Okay.
Well, I was going to try and save that, but that ain't happening, so I guess I got to cut it.
Sorry, had to move the camera.
That's okay.
Somebody is hitting my hand.
Yeah.
Well, you can edit. Oh.
He said, I'm helping. I'm helping.
Yeah, he's helping, all right.
Who's helping? Looks like a piece of the old one there. Alright, we'll see how much fun this is going to be. He said, I'm star of the video.
Yeah.
I'm the star.
Yeah, baby.
Alright, we'll see how much fun this is going to be. Yeah, between all the wires and the fuse box and the fuse box bracket and my fat hand. This is definitely like a divot. Oh, come on. Come on. I know you want to go up in there. It doesn't help that once you get it started, you can't see the hole. Oh, come on. A little more. Come on. And that's so close. Oh, come on. Oh, please. Let's see if I can move it the rest of the way up from the outside.
Camera.
Yeah. Once you get it started through the opening, if you can keep working it around, you'll eventually get it lined back up to where it goes. But I'm not quite there yet. I've still got to stick through that opening a little bit more. I may have goofed up. That seal may come off and go in from the outside. I can't remember at this point. I think it does. That may be what's holding me off. I may have to pull that thing back down out of there and try it again. is not quite wanting to go up against the firewall. I still like about a ½ inch. So I'm going to pull it back out and take that grommet off and see if it'll fit in there and go on the other side. See if I can get it back out. Getting a hold of it's the fun part. Of course, the last one I wasn't worried about breaking it. This one I don't want to break again. Okay, get it back out. Of course, there's a mat here on the firewall, and it's hitting that thing and hanging up too. No, I think that piece of rubber stays on there. It's a weather seal. That means it's got to go up past that. But for some reason, it's not wanting to go up under there real good. It's like it's twisted or something. Something's holding it. Oh, come on. Alright, well, instead of letting you see the struggle with this thing, I'll bring you guys back, and I got something else to show you, some more progress. So I'll see you in a few. Okay, after fighting it for about another 5 minutes, I kind of took it back out and looked at the old one. You can see that's flat. I looked at the new piece, and ta-da! I guess that's where they extruded it or molded it or whatever, and I guess whoever was supposed to denib this kind of fell down on the job. It was hitting the underneath of the defrost duct. So I'm going to chop that off and see if I can't get that puppy up in there. I knew something wasn't right because it wasn't that hard to get the last one in there. So if any of you guys want to do this, check the part carefully and make sure that that barb or material or whatever you want to call it isn't sticking up there. It's supposed to look like this. So I'm going to take it down to the shop and take a side grinder to it and cut that off, and then we'll go at this again and see how it works out. I'll see you in a minute.